In the pursuit of understanding motivation, it's crucial to grasp the simple yet profound distinction between an internal and external locus of control. This concept is not just a psychological theory, it's a lens through which we can examine everything we do. The locus of control shapes how we respond to the inevitable ups and downs of life. It informs how we interpret our successes and, more importantly, our failures. For instance, imagine you're working toward a personal goal. Maybe it's a career aspiration, a fitness objective, or perhaps a creative endeavor. Now, how do you react when things don't go as planned? It's easy to look at a setback and blame external factors. Maybe you didn't get the promotion because your boss didn't like you. Maybe your business didn't succeed because the economy is tough. Or maybe you're still not in the shape you want because your genetics aren't cooperating. These are all common ways of externalizing blame. When you do this, you create a sense of powerlessness. You tell yourself that the world is determining your fate, and you're merely a passenger on a journey you have no control over. But what if you shifted your perspective? What if, instead of blaming the world for not going your way, you asked yourself what you could have done differently? This is where the internal locus of control comes into play. It's about recognizing that your choices, your efforts, and your mindset are what shape your life. Sure, external circumstances can impact us, but they don't have to define us. This is one of the most empowering realizations you can make because it shifts the focus from helplessness to agency. Now, I can tell you from experience, this shift is not always easy. It takes time, patience, and sometimes a bit of trial and error. But what's amazing is that once you start to adopt this mindset, your life begins to change in ways you may not have anticipated. You start looking at challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. And the more you focus on your ability to influence your outcomes, the more motivated you become. It's a snowball effect that keeps gaining momentum. One area where this mindset can be particularly transformative is in the realm of self-improvement. We all know how hard it is to make lasting changes in our habits, whether it's trying to lose weight, adopt a new routine, or learn a new skill. The road is often filled with frustration and self-doubt. But when you realize that success comes from consistent effort, not some innate talent or stroke of luck, you begin to see the process differently. Take, for example, someone trying to get into better shape. The initial enthusiasm can be strong. You hit the gym, follow a diet, and you start seeing results. But soon enough, you hit a plateau. The progress slows, the motivation fades, and you wonder if it's even worth it. Here's where many people slip into that external mindset again. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I have bad genes. Maybe it's just too hard. This is the voice of helplessness, the voice of someone who feels they have no control over the outcome. But think about it. What if that person instead saw the plateau not as a roadblock, but as a natural part of the process? What if they shifted their mindset to, okay, I'm going to change my approach, tweak my routine, or be more mindful of my recovery? By focusing on actions within their control, like changing their exercise regimen or fine-tuning their diet, they would begin to see that they can overcome the plateau. It's this belief in one's ability to make adjustments and keep going that fuels the internal drive necessary for success. I think back to my own experience with self-improvement. There was a time when I struggled with time management. I was always behind, always playing catch-up, and feeling overwhelmed by my to-do list. My initial reaction was to blame external factors. There's too much on my plate. I don't have enough time. Or if only I had better tools. But one day I realized that these were excuses. What I truly needed was not more time or better tools, but a change in how I approach the day. I began breaking tasks into smaller, manageable chunks. I started prioritizing what truly mattered. And most importantly, I stopped blaming the world for my lack of progress. Instead, I took responsibility for how I was managing my time. It was a game changer. Once I took ownership of my time and how I used it, I felt more in control and, by extension, more motivated. The more I focused on improving my time management, the more success I saw, and that success fed my motivation in ways I hadn't anticipated. But here's the thing about motivation: it's not something you can just wait for. It's easy to think that one day the spark of inspiration will hit you, and you'll suddenly be able to accomplish everything you've ever dreamed of. But in reality, motivation is something you have to cultivate daily. It's about taking consistent actions and seeing the results of your efforts, even in the small things. There's another fascinating psychological principle at play here, something called self-determination theory. This theory suggests that people are most motivated when they feel that their actions are self-driven, rather than being imposed by outside forces. Essentially, it's about autonomy, competence, and relatedness. When we feel in control of our actions, when we feel like we're getting better at something, and when we feel connected to a larger purpose or community, we are naturally more motivated. This theory underscores the importance of creating an environment in which you have the freedom to pursue your goals in your own way. If you're always trying to meet the expectations of others or conforming to someone else's idea of success, you may find it harder to stay motivated. But when you align your actions with your true desires, when you set goals that resonate deeply with who you are, motivation becomes a byproduct of your own intrinsic drive. Take, for example, a person who chooses a career based on passion rather than financial gain. At first, the work may be challenging, and the path may not be easy, but because the individual is deeply connected to their work, motivated by a love for it rather than an external reward, they will keep pushing forward. Even when the going gets tough, their internal drive keeps them going because they know that their work is meaningful to them. It's the same with personal projects. Whether you're learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument, or developing a creative skill, if you're doing it because you genuinely enjoy the process, the motivation to keep going flows naturally. The sense of competence that comes from making progress, the autonomy you feel by choosing to pursue something on your own terms, and the joy of mastering something you care about are all powerful motivators. The psychological research supports this too. Studies consistently show that people who engage in activities for intrinsic reasons, because they enjoy them, because they feel they're improving, because they find them personally meaningful, are more likely to persist and achieve their goals. They experience more enjoyment, feel less stress, and are more satisfied with their efforts, regardless of the external outcomes. So, how can you harness the power of an internal locus of control and intrinsic motivation in your own life. The first step is to start small. Don't expect a dramatic transformation overnight. Begin by setting one goal, just one that you can truly connect with, something that excites you or that challenges you in a way that feels personally rewarding. Focus on what you can control and take small actions every day toward that goal. And when you encounter obstacles, instead of feeling defeated, see them as part of the process. Ask yourself, what can I do differently to overcome this? By consistently reminding yourself that you are in control of your outcomes, that your efforts matter, you will start to feel a shift. This shift in mindset is what fuels motivation that doesn't depend on external validation, but rather on your own sense of accomplishment and agency. This, in my opinion, is the true key to sustainable motivation, understanding that motivation is something you can cultivate, not something that just happens to you. It's about taking control of your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your life. And when you do that, the possibilities are endless. So the next time you face a challenge, remember, you are in control. Your efforts will pay off, and the satisfaction you feel from putting in the work will be your greatest motivator. Keep pushing forward and watch how your life transforms.